And we are live. Welcome to the Loose Lug Nuts podcast here on the Setup Man YouTube channel. We've had a very exciting weekend of racing here at, well, not here, but at Martinsville this week. And we are very excited to break it down for you. Not really sure what Tom is at. He sounded like he's going to be here tonight. Not sure where he is. Maybe some technical difficulties on his side. But hopefully he'll be here to join us soon enough. But the man, the myth, the legend that is here tonight is the only guy that I want to share the booth with, and that is Zachary Brandenvold over to my right. So, Zach,
Hello.
how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, what a race we saw this past weekend. And both series had action. And, I think this confirms, I think NASCAR set up the playoff tracks and the cutoff tracks perfectly, because at every single cutoff track this season, we've seen some type of action. I've loved it. I can't wait to get into it and share our opinions on it. And it's good to see you.
Absolutely. And it looks like we've got Tom here. Not sure if he's...
Is it Georgia week for you?
Is anybody there? Is this thing working? Hello?
Welcome.
I can't talk louder. Huh?
I believe it's still working, Tom.
Huh? What? Huh? Talk louder. Grumpy old man.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm an old man. I don't get dressed to go anywhere. This is my robe. I wear my flip-flops everywhere with my black socks on them. This is Grumpy Old Man Week.
Looks like
you're screaming into the mic. You got to pull it back a little bit from your... yeah, there you go. There you go.
Lord have mercy.
What are you whippersnappers doing?
Talking about the race.
A podcast, Tom, about the NASCAR race this weekend.
Lots to complain about there. I should fit in well.
It depends on who you are. But anyway, well, Grumpy Old Man, Tom Willoughby, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well. Glad to talk about some NASCAR racing with you young whippersnappers.
Always.
Always. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and get into the Xfinity race here. Tom, you want to go ahead and break that down for us?
All right, so here's the deal with the Xfinity race. You're coming down to two teammates, Joe Gibbs Racing, Brandon Jones, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs came in, huge point cushion, was pretty much going to make it anyway. Stage points, stage 1, stage 2, he pretty much locked himself in. He's in. So, fairly uneventful for most of the race. Then we get to going towards the end, okay? And we get cautions galore, started by Mr. Landon Castle. And we get, I think, 2 or 3 overtime finishes. The first green, white checkered may have been a regular one. Then we had overtime. We had 1 regular green, white checkered, 2 overtime ones. Both of those, Brandon Jones still up front, still has a chance to get in. He's got to win the race to get in. Couldn't be in a better position, right? He's got a chance to win the race. He gets to start up front. Who do you want behind you if you've got to win to advance to the championship race? You're at Martinsville.
I know, your teammate.
You want your teammate behind you, because your teammate is not going to wreck you. Your teammate will race you clean. The teammate he gets his paycheck from the same place you get your paycheck. That's what makes you teammates. So he's not going to hurt the company. He's going to race you clean. So all you got to do is not screw up. So we do a couple of these, and I got to let Ty Gibbs borrow my glasses. Apparently he misjudged things because he bumped Brandon Jones, tried to move him out of the way, both restarts. Okay. Then we get to a third restart. On this time, Ty Gibbs up front. He's got around his teammate. What was he thinking? Brandon Jones gets back around and coming to the white flag. Ty Gibbs, teammate, the one guy you want behind you, doesn't bump and run him, wrecks him, straight up wrecks him. Didn't even wait till the turn to hit him. Drove through him in the straightaway. Hit him so hard, he buckled the hood on the car. I was fine until that's what turned me into a grumpy old man. Teammates, both of them from JGR Racing, and Brandon Jones gets absolutely dumped. Ty Gibbs gets a basically meaningless win. JGR gets one car in the championship 4 instead of 3. The one person happiest about this, Mr. Justin Allgaier, because that put him into the championship 4. So I don't know what to make of it. When you got teammates wrecking teammates, I don't know what to make of it. What do you guys make of it? Let's go to you, Aaron.
Oh, Ty Gibbs, man, we were singing your praise earlier this year, man. We thought you turned a new leaf. We thought you were going to be responsible for your actions. We thought you were going to, be a likable driver, and then go out and do that? Come on, man. That was your bloody teammate, for crying out loud. He was trying to win his way into the championship, which, by the way, it would have been 2 Junior Motorsport drivers and 2 Joe Gibbs drivers. Possibly you want a teammate on your side, but apparently you don't. You just want him to be a one-man organization and piss your teammate off. Great job, Ty Gibbs. Great job, man. Oh, my God. What the hell?
Zach, what's your take on this thing?
Awful. You're already locked in. Your teammate would knock out one of your competitors for the championship, and you just blatantly wreck him. I mean, it reminds me of what Denny Hamlin did to Chase Elliott. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that wasn't even on teammates.
No,
that was
at least he can excuse that one.
Oh,
there's no excuse for this.
I'm disgusted. And Joe Gibbs said earlier today that apparently there's going to be some serious repercussions. I don't know what you're going to do to the guy.
He's your grandson. You're not going to.
I was about to say, like,
to him.
Oh, you're going to fine him?
He'll make him mow the yard for a week. That's his punishment.
Yeah. Let out the dogs and mow the yard.
Take out trash, do the dishes, all the normal household stuff.
You're grounded. No phone.
You're grounded. No Twitter or Instagram for you for a week.
But not only that, but after the race, how he tried to justify what he did was deplorable. But
how to dig yourself deeper in a hole by Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I think that there's there's 5. There's going to be 5 Junior Motorsports drivers on the track, or no, 3. Excuse me. I don't think they have an additional one racing this week. There's going to be 4 Junior Motorsports drivers. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Four Junior Motorsports drivers going to help each other. One of them is going to win the championship. It's not going to be Ty Gibbs. That's for sure.
Okay, so let's unpack some of this. If you missed it, okay, in the post-race interview, Ty Gibbs pulled out a quote from, give me just a second because I got it here. He pulled a quote from a Bible where he actually compared himself to Jesus in saying that Jesus was hated by all too, okay? So you pull a move like that, then you're gonna try to compare yourself to. Did I just lock myself out? What am I doing? No, sorry, I hit the wrong button. To Jesus?
Didn't they tell you, don't bite the hand that feeds you? I feel like that would be applicable in this scenario. Your team needs 2 cars in the championship, and you selfishly ruin that. I feel like that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
I actually have it right here. Ty Gibbs said, and I quote, "I always go back to the verse that Jesus was hated first, and among all the people, that's part of it." End quote.
Okay. Ty, listen up. Okay, let me give you a Bible lesson here. Okay, and for anybody else who's listening, you can have one too. Okay, When Jesus said that, he was talking to his disciples, okay? And he was talking about being hated by non-believers, okay? Ty, no one's hating you because you're a Christian or because you believe in God. They're hating you because you wreck people on the track. Big difference, okay? Let me help you brush up on your Bible verses here a little bit. Go check out John chapter 13, verse 34. Jesus is speaking. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. Here's a hint. Your teammate qualifies as one another, okay? Yeah, go brush up on the Bible, Ty. And while you're at it, brush up on not hitting people too, okay?
Oh, lordy. I just want like I just want to be like a fly on the wall in the Gibbs household, like during all this week, because I think Joe Gibbs is going to like ream into Ty about this. I really hope so.
Okay, so let's talk about how bad this is. Just talk about how bad this is, okay? I'll give you an example. My first semester in college, I did terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any idea how to study. I couldn't adjust to college life. I wasn't mature enough to be independent. I think I had like a 2.1 grade point average. This is after graduating high school with honors. And I wrecked my car while I was up there in a parking garage of all places by backing it out and hitting a pole about this big around, okay? At that point, my dad may not have been happy with me, but at least he didn't go out and publicly state that he was not proud of me. That's where you're at, Ty Gibbs, okay? Your dad, Coy Gibbs, flat out said he was not proud, okay? That's how low you have sunk when even your dad can't be proud of you anymore. So, Ty, I don't know where rock bottom is, but you are doing your best to dig your way down there.
Yep. How to Dig Yourself in a Deeper Hole by Ty Gibbs.
And you can go so many different directions, none of which is good. Okay. Let's change positions now. Okay. I'm now the CEO of Menards. I just spent a shit ton of money sponsoring Brandon Jones for half the year. I probably had his sponsorship on the car for the championship race. I am so excited because my guy that I have sponsored is going to be competing for the championship because he's going to win this race. Do you know what great exposure that is for my company? Do you know what I can do with sales and commercials and marketing? Forget if he wins it, just the fact that he's in the championship 4. Yeah. And a guy from the same organization wrecks him. If I'm the CEO of Menards, I am calling up Joe Gibbs immediately, and I am cussing him up one side and down the other and telling him it'll be a cold day in hell before he gets another sponsorship check from me. If I am somebody sitting on the sidelines and thinking about sponsoring a NASCAR team, JGR, Big X. No, no, not sponsoring anybody from that organization. Not going to watch my millions of dollars get wrecked by somebody from the same organization because you can't control your narcissistic, bratty, childish grandson. Good luck with this, Joe Gibbs. Don't be surprised if you're down to a 2-car team in 5 years because your kid drives away all the sponsors.
Yeah.
Doesn't a lot growing up.
And they're gonna put that, and they're gonna put him in the 18 for next season. I mean, it hasn't been announced yet, so maybe we have a little glimmer of hope. But
I really hope he doesn't make it through the championship race because he's got half the garage that hates him. I have this dream where I am seeing the 19 car with the just squared up right on the 54, pinning him against the wall, doing a burnout. Like he's got the car pinned against the wall, already wrecked Gibbs, and just to drive the point home, instead of stopping or braking, he's just on the gas doing a burnout right there with his nose buried into the side of the 54.
Honestly, I'm kind of envisioning the Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer event from Phoenix a few years ago. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I'm seeing Kenseth Logano in our future.
So basically, none of us are seeing anything anything bright in the future for the 54 car. Is what I'm saying.
No. And to reiterate, I really hope and beg they don't put him in 18 next season. He does not have the maturity to be in the Cup Series at all,
especially in this car now.
Well, and it goes and that's highlighted by the fact that I don't know if you guys. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. He bumped Ty Gibbs, I think it was, or it might have been Eric Jones. Or I'm sorry, he bumped Ty Dillon, excuse me, or Eric Jones on pit road and almost hit crew members because he was heated. Ridiculous. Doesn't have the head to Racing Cup.
No.
Okay, so since I joined late as a grumpy old man, are we making our picks for the Xfinity Championship now, or are we going to wait to the end to do that? I missed that. I apologize for being late.
So we're going to wait until the end to do that.
Wait until the end to do that. All right, so we will be picking our championship favorites for all three series, but we're going to do that near the end of the race. So if you thought the Xfinity race was exciting, okay, here's what I would say. If you thought that was exciting, Ross Chastain reaches over to Ty Gibbs, grabs his juice box, says, "Hold my juice box. I'm going to show you what excitement is." So coming into this race, you had Hamlin, you had Chastain, pretty close in points. You had Bell and you had Briscoe, who pretty much had to win their way in. So not a whole lot matters in the first couple of the stages, except for the fact that Denny Hamlin puts on a brilliant performance. He comes in and does everything he has to do to advance. He scores well both stages. He drove through the field like I don't know what, like they were standing still. He drove through the field the first stage like he was rim riding and they were running the normal line. He does a masterful job all day long. Then we get down to the end, and I think it we get a spin. Was it a Landon Castle spin? And here we go. Now we're coming down to the end, and we get some strategy involved. Chase Briscoe has no choice. He throws the Hail Mary, okay? He throws the Hail Mary and stays out because he has no chance. That's the only way he's going to make it. Christopher Bell knows he's got to make it, but he takes tires. Hamlin does what everybody else does because he's basically pointed his way in. Chastain is trying to make his car better, but just hasn't been able to keep up with Hamlin all day long. We got down to about a 20-lap shootout at the end, and it looks like Chase Briscoe is going to win his way in. It really looks that way. And then the tires start to give up. Then Christopher Bell starts coming, and he's working his way through traffic. Here he comes. Christopher Bell takes the lead. This is huge because it puts him in because he was in a must-win. With one of the guys that's must-win getting in, now it's not Hamlin and Chastain pointing their way in. It's one or the other, okay? One or the other. One gets in, one doesn't. Hamlin is sitting pretty. He's 5 spots on the track ahead of Chastain going into the last lap. And Chastain, send it to end it. He does the send it of all send its. Not only does he not brake going into the paperclip at Martinsville, he actually gasses it. He is like upshifting into 5th gear, rim rides, not by the wall, not 2 inches from the wall, bouncing off the wall all the way around turn 3 and 4, passes 5 cars in the last lap, including Denny Hamlin, and points his way in. If you didn't see it, you got to find a clip of it and watch it. I've been watching races since I was 5 years old. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen on a racetrack. You would think that somebody for the second time winning to advance when they had to win, which is what Christopher Bell did. Second time in the playoffs, he's been a win or go home scenario, and he's won. You'd think that would be the big story of the weekend? No, not even close. It is a distant second. That was the most incredible, gutsy thing I have ever seen in racing. So
I doubt 10 years from now, when we discuss this race, we will just forget who won the race.
Yeah, it will be one of those things that who actually won that race. So I also think that Christopher Bell has earned a new nickname. Especially if he wins this weekend, he earns a new nickname. He is going to be Mr. Walk-Off.
It's a walk-off or saved by the bell.
Yeah. So,
Something like
all right.
that.
So, I don't even know who we started with last time, but let's talk about this. What do
Zach.
you guys think?
Zach, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, man, Bell. I love that he isn't this like the third time that he's done like a walk-off? I think he won to get into the playoffs at New Hampshire when it was down to the wire. He won to get into this round of 12, and now he's won to get into the round of 4 as well. Awesome stuff by him. I was cheering him on. I really was. And then obviously, like you said, Chastain's move, man. Never seen that in my life. It's like Larry Mack says. Have you ever? No, I've never.
No, I've never.
No, I've never seen that. That's the things like we have tried in racing and it doesn't even work. And somehow, I mean, obviously I think this new car helped a ton with the composite body, but yeah. Oh, crazy move. I literally, they cut to the start finish and I saw him move up the stance. I was like, that must have been an error, because we've seen the season, especially on road courses, where timing and scoring gets messed up. I did not even see him on the wall when they panned to the start finish line, and so I thought it was a scoring error. And then they showed the move, obviously, and I could not believe it. I could not believe it at all. But congratulations to him, that team. It would be, if it does happen, be the first time that in like 50 years or since I think 1950 or something like that, that somebody who won their first race in this season and won the championship in the same season. So if he can get it done, that would be history in the making for not only that team but for him as well. So overall, really good race. I think it was a much better race than all the other short tracks that we've been to this season. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this would not be if Bell wins championship, first win in a season and winning the championship, because he won the Daytona road course. That would be Chastain.
Yeah, I meant Chastain. Sorry, I meant Chastain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go on, Mike Hora, you dropped a bombshell on us as we were signing off last year with a parting comment saying you were proposing this weekend. Mike, you got to give us an update on that. You can't leave us hanging on that one. I see you're tuned in here, so
dude, how did it go?
Give us an update.
We have been live for 23 minutes and you have not told us. Come on, dude.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
We'll give you a chance to type while you're typing. Zach, take us through the news.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, first big news story is that the Busch Light Clash will end under Coliseum lights in 2023. They have scheduled to start 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is a half hour before the typical sunset time for Los Angeles. Last year it started at 6 Eastern, so it'll be a little bit later for our West Coast folk. But yeah, that's gonna be June 12th. Is it gonna be I'm sorry, not June 12th. I don't know what I'm saying. February 5th, excuse me. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Aaron, let's start with you.
This is going to be a cool event. I mean, obviously the Busch Light Clash was a major hit. That's why they're bringing it back again this year. I thought it was a really cool race. Just essentially a little flat track that produced some pretty good racing. But under the lights, I think it'd be pretty dang cool myself. It would also have the feel of like a Friday night feature race. I think it would have that kind of feel, and it would be awesome to see. The only downside that I have with this is that it's going to be in LA, of course, obviously, but it's going to be starting for them at 5 p.m., which I don't know if you guys went through 5 p.m. traffic around your local towns, but I'm sure it sucks. LA traffic is going to be possibly about 100 times worse than that. So those going to the race will have to get there stupid early to make it to the race without having to be bogged down in traffic or something like that. That's the only problem that I can see with this. But other than that, I have no problem with this. I think it'll look really, really cool under the lights.
What about you, Tom?
I don't think the traffic will be an issue because it's a Sunday. Even in LA, I can't imagine traffic is that bad on a Sunday afternoon, but I could be wrong. I think it's kind of cool. NASCAR really likes primetime events, and we're going Sunday night here. It might get a little late for some of the people on the East Coast that have to get up early, but I think it'll be exciting. So NASCAR is all about trying to create drama and excitement, and they're getting a race into primetime is a great way to attract more viewers. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. This is close to Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Very
the week
close.
after?
The week before, I think.
Okay.
The week
When
before.
is it? What's the date?
It's February 5th.
February 5th.
Yeah, so it'd be the week before. You're right.
Because Super Bowl is usually around Valentine's Day.
It's the second weekend in November or in February.
January.
Excuse me. February. Excuse me.
We can't tell time. We can't do math. We're just bad today.
Yeah.
Actually, before we move on to the next news segment, we got some news of our own here. Update from Mike. I haven't done it yet. Thank God I'm not home. Had some issues with the ring.
Oh, I could have blown that if she was listening at home and you were home. Oops. All right. I'm only 50% responsible, Mike. You put it out there last week saying you were going to do it. So I'm only 50% responsible if she sees this.
We'll have responsibility on you and us.
Yeah, we gotta hide this video after it's done.
Hey, don't worry, nobody watches our videos anyway. We're safe.
All right, so our next news story: Dave Gilliland Racing will be rebranded as Tricon Racing in 2023, and will switch to Toyota, basically becoming what Kyle Busch Motorsports is in the Truck Series. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Tom, let's start with you.
Him going to Toyota, Corey Heim is in the lineup, extremely talented racer. Taylor and Tanner Gray, one of those guys is so young that they're going to miss the first few races because I don't think they are allowed to compete in the Truck Series until they turn 18. But he's going to have three young, aggressive, talented drivers. Corey Heim, in the limited starts he made, he drove the wheels off that truck.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's got a good lineup. Here's the thing, though. When this was announced, the first probably 3 comments I saw about it on social media had nothing to do with David Gilliland, the drivers, the rebranding, the switch Toyota. The first several comments I saw were, "Where's Hailie Deegan going?" So that tells you where the popularity is and what name is on people's lips. People may love her, people may hate her, but they talk about her. And I think she brings some sponsorship dollars with her. So as much as this is a David Gilliland story, it's a Hailie Deegan story too, because everybody wants to know, where's Hailie Deegan going now?
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Aaron?
Right now, I think this is kind of like a huge year for Toyota because you're getting a much, not as a talented team like KBM, but you're still getting a very hungry team in what was DGR, but now you're getting Tricon. Really, I think it's kind of a huge gift for Toyota because besides KBM, not really a whole lot of representation, at least in the Truck Series. I mean, and so this is kind of like a huge get. But still, I mean, there has been some speculation of Hailie Deegan kind of going to Xfinity, the Xfinity Series. I don't think she's ready for that yet. I don't think she still needs like maybe 2-3 more years in the Truck Series. But if she goes to Xfinity, then good for her. All the more, wishing of luck for Hailie Deegan, but I don't think she's ready for that yet.
Yes. So yeah, like I completely agree with you, Tom. This is a big story for not only Tricon Motorsports, but also Hailie Deegan, where she is going to end up. Luckily, there are some options, especially in the Xfinity Series, more so than Truck at the moment. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see for sure. So yeah, Taylor Gray will miss the first 3 races of the season due to age restriction, but he will race in every other race. He'll start. They call it full time, despite him missing the first 3 races. So
I
we'll
thought I did
see.
hear that they were applying for like a waiver to where he can still get full-time status, although he'll be missing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Whether or not he can get a waiver and compete for the playoffs, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, pretty strong lineup right now. I mean, Tanner and Taylor are both doing pretty well at the moment in their limited starts. I think Tanner is running full time. They're outperforming Haley Deegan, which is something. And yeah, so I'm excited to see how that works out for sure. Moving right along, Alex Bowman is medically cleared to race and will race at Phoenix, which is a shock. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Aaron, let's start with you.
First off, great news for Alex Bowman. I seriously thought that he may go down the Kurt Busch path and say that he will not be cleared to race for a while. But of course, great news saying that he'll be back in the car here in a few weeks. Hope he'll do well in Phoenix next week, and hope for the best.
What about you, Tom?
Yeah, this is the feel-good story of the week. Welcoming Alex Bowman back, getting him a chance to race the final race of the season with his crew chief, Greg Ives, who is stepping off the pit box at the end of the season. So he gets to race one more race with him. He gets to finish out the season in the car instead of on the sidelines. And I think that psychologically, it's going to be good for him because that's going to be a long, long off season if you can't get back in the car and you're filled with doubt, wondering what it's going to be like when you get back in the car. But if you get that one race in before the season's over, now that doubt is gone. Okay, you've gone out there, you've competed, you've dealt with the noise, you've dealt with the beating, the banging, the whatever happens, the focus, the concentration. You've done it all, so you can kind of have a peaceful off season, knowing that you're healthy and ready to go. So I think as much as it's a feel-good story, it's good for him. It's going to make for a much, much more peaceful off season for him if he can get this race in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good for Alex Bowman. I hope that he is. I mean, obviously he's cleared, but I hope that he's mentally sound. Like you said, Tom, I completely agree with you. This is probably a more confidence thing and mental thing, getting him back in the car for one last time for the season. Because yeah, it is a long period of time if you're going to miss that many races, and getting back in the car the first time at Daytona, well, actually technically probably would be the Clash. Not always the best. So yeah, exciting. Tyler Reddick on the opposite end of the spectrum has not felt right all week after a hard crash at Homestead, and he gets out of the car at Martinsville. What are you guys' thoughts on this, Tom?
I'm going to go with a kind of a broader viewpoint of this. I feel like as much as we have made medical advancements in many areas and understand many things about the human body, we're still in the infancy of understanding how the human brain works. That I think 50 years or 100 years or 200 years from now, we'll look back on this as being the dark ages of understanding the human brain. And that is whether you're talking about something like the autism spectrum, or whether you're talking about things like schizophrenia, or whether you're talking about traumatic head injuries and concussions. I just don't feel like we have a very good understanding of how the human brain works, how it reacts and heals, and how it's affected by some of this stuff. We don't even necessarily do things like saying he had a concussion because we don't necessarily have a definitive bright line test to say this is a concussion. We always say he has concussion-like symptoms, which means we can't even clearly define at this point medically what is or isn't a concussion. I just feel like we're in the infancy. I feel like something probably did happen to Tyler Reddick. And like I said, 100 years from now, they might be able to look at Tyler Reddick and pinpoint exactly what his condition is and how long it'll take to heal and what he needs to heal. Right now, we don't even know what the condition is. So I feel for Tyler Reddick. I pray for him. I pray for medical advancements, but I just feel like we're still in kind of the dark ages of the human brain relative to what we know compared to how complex it is.
What about you, Tom or Aaron?
I mean, this is just concerning to me, and of course, obviously, it's very concerning because this is a man's health in danger here. But if he hadn't felt right all week after that incredible hard hit at Homestead, and he was still out to race, something flew. I'm not trying to speculate that something was wrong, that either he didn't say something or the team thought maybe he shouldn't race today, but something so some of that didn't happen. He hadn't felt right all week and still raced. But the hit that he took possibly just said, I'm getting out of the car, I'm not doing this anymore. That was on the front end, not the rear, like everything else. It was on the front, which is oddly concerning. So to me, that should probably say, this car is not safe from either the front or the back, or not safe, period, where you hit it, which is obvious, but even more so now. So this is very concerning from both a NASCAR standpoint and from a driver health safety standpoint. Just concerns all around. I mean, hopefully he will be back in the car next week, but this is, again, not a good look for NASCAR.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see on week in and week out basis. Seems to be a lot of this going around, unfortunately. I really hope that.
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say, I really hope that Tyler Reddick is all right, and they have released some updates to the new car that they're trying out, and so they are working on it. So I hope that they can get them out as quick as possible. I hope we don't see anything at the last race in Phoenix that is too concerning, but just not weird. Weird, I think, is the sentiment after, normally it's the back end, this time it's the front end, but it could be a combination of both weekends. So I don't know, but not good.
No.
Well, and Aaron, you're making my point, because here's the situation. You've got a big paycheck on the line because drivers are typically paid 40-50% of their earnings. You've got sponsor responsibilities and expectations from those people, as well as the team members that are counting on you to be there, even in what is a meaningless race because you're eliminated from the playoffs. You still got all those things pressuring you to get out there and perform. And here's the problem. Hasn't felt right, okay? We don't even know what's wrong with him. We don't even have a medical test based on today's, abilities to define things and detect things to know what's wrong. Does he have a mild case of the flu? Does he have the concussion? Does he have a virus?
Is he
suffering from fatigue? Was carbon monoxide poisoning a part of that? Because that can be an issue at Martinsville. We don't even know what his problem was. And can you imagine how bad of a look it is for him personally, as much heat as he would take on social media, if he said, I just don't feel right, so I'm not going to race? They would have called him a pussy and every name in the book on social media. He would have been vilified on social media. Oh, you don't have a chance at the championship, so you're just tanking. You don't give a shit. If you can't win the championship, you're not even going to race. Oh, I wish I could stay home every time I said I didn't feel real good or I didn't feel right. Can you imagine how he would have got roasted on social media if he did that without a clear diagnosis? I mean, I'm just saying that's the times we live in, and unfortunately, that's where our medical advancements are right now. That we can't even tell if there's what is wrong. So, sorry,
No,
my last take.
no, I think you're right for sure. But yeah, that's the news this week.
Okay, all right. That brings us up to who's hot and who's not. So, Aaron, let's start with you since Zach looks like he just kind of disappeared from the screen. Who you got?
All right, so for my who's hot this week, I mean, come on. I got to go with, of course, the only thing that makes sense is NASCAR. NASCAR is freaking hot this week. I mean, just look at this. This from after finish, we've got Will Power, IndyCar legend, said, quote, "That's one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time." Doesn't stop there. We got Daniel Ricciardo, F1 legend, said straight up hero shit. and Trent doesn't stop rolling. We got Fernando Alonso saying, quote, "This is the best thing of 2022 in motorsports racing. We did all this on video games." Fernando Alonso saying this, we did on video games. We're doing it disabled. Never thought this would become reality. So everyone's having the same takes. And of course, Pierre Gasly, also F1 driver, saying legend. When in doubt, just go flat out. I mean, tons of media attention. And oh, by the way, Ross Chastain in the last 24 hours after this finish gained 8,000 followers on Twitter. A day after that finish. Do you want to know how many Austin Cindric got after he won the Daytona 500?
How many?
4,000 in a day.
Wow. And Chastain didn't even win.
He didn't even win. All he did was just do this video game move around Martinsville. So he got twice as many followers in one day than Austin Cindric did when the biggest race of the NASCAR calendar. So yeah, NASCAR is in some very good light right now, despite me saying that the rating is not good for NASCAR. But hey, great publicity for NASCAR and great publicity for just NASCAR racing in general, saying that, yeah, we can do it too. We don't care.
And let me add to that, the night he did that, the Sports Center top 10, he was number one.
He had to. I should be surprised, but here I am.
Oh, if he wasn't number one, I want to know what would have been.
I would have been mad. But for my who's not this week, all I gotta show is that. Y'all know why.
Yeah. When even your dad comes out publicly and says he's not proud, you deserve to be who's not.
Yeah. All right, so who wants to go next?
Zach, you go ahead.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to go around along the same sentiment as you. I'm going to say Ross Chastain is hot. Like you said, 8,000 new followers in a day. The move of the century. I mean, I can't remember a move quite like that in my entire life. And I've watched
because
racing.
It never happened.
I've been watching racing for quite a while. But anyway, yes, he gets into the Final Four with that move in his first year fighting for the championship, and it just so happens he finished second there earlier this season. So he did what it took, and more so to get into the Final Four, and he put himself in a really good position to win the championship. And I think he has 8,000 more followers rooting for him to do so.
Which, oh, by the way, let's see, hang on, what was I want to say? There was a news story that we didn't cover here because I completely forgot to put it in. But Brad Keselowski got disqualified from the race. His car was too light, and so his position wouldn't have mattered, and that entire move ultimately would not have mattered in the grand scheme of things. But then again, he didn't. But then again, he didn't know that. But screw it.
Okay, but let's play this out, okay?
I thought he was 2 points behind.
Until
that move.
What?
I thought he was 2 points behind before that move.
I think he was, but I don't know.
But I've heard the Keselowski thing too. Imagine how thankful NASCAR is that Chastain pulled that move. Because if one driver gets in, another gets out, because somebody got DQ'd. Imagine the conspiracy theories, the uproar, the hate, the accusations of everything being rigged. Imagine the bad press NASCAR takes, maybe not deservedly so, but imagine the conspiracy theories that are unleashed if that happens. So I think NASCAR is as happy as anybody that Chastain pulled that move.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking, what if Denny Hamlin ended up pulling that move for the win? I mean, you clearly could have won on that move if you were in third place.
I don't know how far back he was, so I don't know, but yeah, but there's no reason for Hamlin to pull that move because he's thinking he's in. He's thinking
That's
he's
true.
in by a
Yeah,
wide margin.
Yeah, he was in at that time.
He was ahead of Chastain by 5 positions, and Chastain had nobody in front of him to pass when that lap started. So yeah. So,
but anyway, as far as my who's not, I'm gonna go with Denny Hamlin. Unfortunately, although he has 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and 6 top 20s, he's only finished outside the top 10 in 1 race in the past 6 races. He did everything he was supposed to do in the playoffs, and he still didn't make the championship 4. He ends up 4 points shy of advancing, which would have been a win that Ross wrecked him for earlier in the season. And we've been talking about it for weeks, when Denny Hamlin was going to get his payback, and I feel like it's finally come back to bite him. Obviously, he's not in the championship 4 because Ross, set that aside, Ross's move, but he didn't retaliate whatsoever. So we've been talking about, drivers have been talking about, oh, Ross has it coming, he's gonna get it, I'm gonna wreck him when it matters, or I'm gonna make it very hard on him. And in reality, none of that happens, which allowed him to make the championship 4 and ultimately cost Denny Hamlin a shot at the championship. And yet here we go again, talking about Denny Hamlin not winning the championship for how many years? And he's been extremely strong. So ultimately, I have to go Denny Hamlin not, because he didn't do what he was talking all year after Chastain did what he did to him. That's my who's hot, who's not.
Okay, where's your logic that Chastain cost Hamlin a win?
Because earlier in the season, I believe he wrecked him, right?
Where at that cost him the win?
I'd have to go back.
I know he wrecked him at Atlanta. Hamlin had a decent car.
But that didn't cost him a win. That was early in the race, and so was WWT.
There was one race where he had a really good car and he got taken out by him, but I'm not 100% certain which one that was.
I don't know that you can say that he cost Hamlin a win, because you don't know if Hamlin's going to win. It's not like it was a turn 4 bump and run. So I don't know that really cost him.
Regardless, it cost him a lot of points this season, which ultimately could have led him finishing higher in the standings. But yeah, it definitely cost him a bunch of points this season.
Now, if you want to play devil's advocate and go the other way, you'd say Hamlin got what he deserved, because he would have made it in had he and Kyle Busch not been disqualified at, was it Michigan or Pocono?
It was Pocono.
And Hamlin won that race, right?
Yes. Hamlin won.
You could argue that that's poetic justice, that the cheater doesn't get in because he got caught cheating. If you want to argue it the other way.
I don't know so much that Denny Hamlin, that would be on Denny Hamlin that they manufacture the cars like that.
I'm just saying that if I were going to say why he's not there, I would say it was because of the DQ of the win, because that's a clear 5 playoff points that cost him. But it's a long season. There's a lot of what ifs that go on. But let me get into my who's hot and who's not. You guys left it wide open for me, and I got to say, there is not a shortage of who's hot this week between NASCAR, between Ross Chastain. There's a lot of people you can pick for who's hot. I'm going with Christopher Bell. He is my who's hot. Second time in a row, he has been a win or go home situation, and he has won both times at the Charlotte Roval at Martinsville. I am calling him Mr. Walk-Off. That's my new nickname for Christopher Bell because he's got walk-off wins both times when he's had to. So by the way, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Bell is my who's hot. Who's not? I'm going with William Byron, which may not seem obvious, but coming into this round, I told you guys Bell is going to the championship 4. Count on it, because here's what's happened the last 3 times he was at these tracks, okay? Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. He won at Martinsville in the spring. He won at Homestead last year. He got a 5th place at Vegas. So the last 3 times he visited the tracks that are in this round, 2 wins and a 5th place. So it's looking good for Mr. Byron. But we get into the playoffs, no top 5s. He had a 7th, a 12th, and a 13th, which isn't great. But when you're trying to race for a championship, you got to do better than that, unfortunately. So I'm going with him as being who's not, because these were great tracks for him, and he didn't have great performances at them. So that wraps up who's hot, who's not. Now it is time for green flag, red flag, where we invite our viewers to play along with us. And Aaron will take us through the green flag, red flag questions and explain the rules. But please play along, type in your comments. And once again, Jason, appreciate it. I love doing the setups. Glad they help you, bud.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen at home, here's how the rules work. It is a very, very simple game that is kind of like Whose Lines. It's kind of like Whose Lines anyway. It's a game show where the points don't matter. We literally don't keep score. We don't keep track. It's just literally your opinion, and if you want to include some facts, go ahead and include them, kind of thing. So, all right. So I will list off in this case 4 statements or questions about this week's race, or about this weekend's race and next weekend's race. If you agree with the statements, go ahead and run in a green flag where you agree with it, and if you want to, go ahead and tell us why you agree with it, or say red flag, you would disagree with the statements, and then of course tell us why if you want to. It's just for our enjoyment, because we're very curious people around here. So green flag, red flag, number 1 of the evening is Ty Gibbs will get wrecked by one of his rivals at Phoenix, which, if you want to go ahead and count the rivals that Ty Gibbs has, basically half the field. Half the field is basically a rival of Ty Gibbs, whether it be this year or last year. So, green flag, red flag. Zach, we'll start with you first.
Yes, he is. I think all the championship drivers are gunning for him, but for the most part, it's going to be his quote-unquote teammate that he wrecked out, Brandon Jones, that'll be going after him. And I likely see that we probably would see something like a Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth situation way back when. So I'll be eating a bunch of popcorn.
Okay, Tom, what say you?
I'm going to say green flag. You've got Noah Gragson. You've got Justin Allgaier. You've got Brandon Jones. Go all the way back to the beginning of the year. You have Ryan Sieg, I think. I think you had Myatt Snyder, maybe. Myatt Snyder or Sam Mayer, one of them. I remember got into it with him. I think Allmendinger was maybe upset with him one time, but I wouldn't swear to that. It's a long list. I'm saying yes. I am not sure that I agree with Zach it being Brandon Jones. I think if it's Brandon Jones, it's at a critical juncture at the race. It's sometime in stage 3 at a critical juncture. The problem is, I don't know that Gibbs is around to see stage 3. I think somebody like Noah Gragson would not hesitate to take him out on lap 20 of stage 2 if the opportunity presents itself. So yeah, I think he's doing TV interviews before the race is over, and his car is in the hauler, and he is beating the traffic out of Phoenix. I don't think he makes it to the end.
You know, y'all make some very good points, but I'm going to differ. I'm going to say red flag. I don't think he gets wrecked. Well, okay, I'll rephrase that. I don't think he'll be obviously wrecked. I think that we're going to see kind of like a Hamlin-Chastain kind of thing where Hamlin is not going to blatantly wreck him, but he will not give 1 inch to Chastain either. I kind of feel the same way about Ty Gibbs going into this race. He's not going to be given a whole lot of room by those he's gone into this season. But I don't think there's going to just flat out take out a championship contender over something that happened last week or weeks ago. But I think that they will not give him any sort of room going into this race and make his championship hopes a lot more difficult, is what I think will happen. Of course, I may be completely freaking wrong, but then again, it's par for the course. I've got Mark Hora saying green flag, 1 to start, it will be Jones. He will likely be the best candidate. And, here we go. I'll pledge $30 if Jesus Gibbs makes it past lap 55. Why lap 55? Is that stage 1 break or? Why
I don't know, but if it's that early, I'm calling it as being Noah Gragson that does it.
Calling Noah Gragson. Okay. Taking him by
if it's that early, I think the only one that would take him out that early is Noah Gragson.
Okay.
So,
but Mike, just so you know, it's on the internet. We have proof that you said it. So we fully expect $30 next week if he's taken out. All right. So green flag, red flag number 2 of the night. Ross Chastain will make contact with another one of the championship 4 drivers at Phoenix. Green flag, red flag. Tom, what do you think?
I think that a better question would be, how many will he make contact with? So I'm saying green flag, yes. I'm saying the over-under is 2.
The over-under is 2. All right. Mike, go ahead and write that down. Over-under on Ross Chastain's hitting championship contenders is 2, according to Tom. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to say green flag as well. It's a tight track. It's very easy to slip off the corner. We saw Ross Chastain make similar mistakes at Richmond, very similar racetrack. Yeah, I think it's very likely that it happens.
Yeah, I'm also going to go and agree with you guys on this one. Green flag, it is inevitable. There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Ross Chastain smacking into your favorite driver. Got green flag here, especially in this type of environment. Ross Chastain has shown to kind of use his emotions, kind of get the better of him in certain like high stakes situations. And what is more high stakes situation than the final race of the season, going for your first ever championship for your organization? It's going to be a very intense and a very emotional moment for Ross Chastain. And yeah, he's going to be getting into a lot of people this weekend. Or we can pray that he finds some sort of move that will work like he did at Martinsville. That will be insane.
Okay. Guys, I got to take care of something with my son. I'll be back just a second. Go to Zach for first one on the next green flag, red flag. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm going to move him for right now so we don't get any camera interference. All right, so green flag, red flag number 3 of the night. Actually, hang on. Let me look at my cores here. Red flag, I feel it will be clean. Watch me eat my words. Yeah, might want to go ahead and get a plate and a fork for you, buddy. You poor soul. All right, number 3 of the night. Which was the more memorable Martinsville moment? Green flag for Ross's wall ride or red flag for Kenseth against Joey Logano? Zach, what do you think?
I mean, I would have to say Kenseth and Joe Logano, just simply because I had never heard a crowd cheer as much after a wreck as possible. Also, I was rooting hard for Kenseth at that point. I would say that's more memorable to me. I mean, I feel like this incident will probably be more memorable in the long run. I think we just got to let it marinate.
Oh, it's agreeing. It looks like Tom is back. All right, Tommy made just in time here. Number 3, what's more memorable Martinsville moments? Ross's wall ride or Kenseth against Joey Logano?
I got to go green flag. It was Ross. I have seen people wreck each other. I've seen people get in fights. I have seen people, maybe not on the same scale as the Kenseth Logano thing, but I've at least seen things where I can say I've seen something like that before. When it was Ross Chastain, I've never seen anything like that. So I have to go green flag with the Ross Chastain. It is just in a category of its own. Right now, it is in that category, it is one of one. Okay. I can name wrecks and I can name intentional wrecks and I can rank them 1 through 10 as the most memorable or most significant ever. But when it comes to the Ross Chastain one, it's one of one. So I got to go with green flag.
Well, for me, I got to go red flag. I got to go Kenseth against Joey Logano for a few reasons. Number 1 being it was Matt Kenseth, one of the coolest, emotional, like ice cold water in his veins. You could not get to this guy emotionally. If Matt Kenseth is so ticked at you that he will blatantly wreck you, you have done something very deservingly to warrant that kind of action. Number 2, through no complete bias of my own, I'm a Jeff Gordon fan, and that's what caused him to get his last win in the Cup Series. So no bias there. Number 3 is that we're still talking about that incident to this day, and that happened about 7 years ago. Number 4 being Tom. You are correct in that being a first time thing, but is a first time that it's worked. If you remember back in Kansas of 2008, Carl Edwards tried a quote unquote video game move against Jimmy Johnson in Kansas. It did not work. And then actually, I think last year we saw the same thing with Kyle Larson at Darlington when he was trying to get around, ironically, Denny Hamlin for the win, and it did not work. It could have worked, but Darlington is just so high groove that Hamlin just was easily able to block him. But that move was the only time that someone intentionally pulled a video game move, and it worked. And so while I think both will be remembered for decades to come, I think the Matt Kenseth incident will remain, I think, the top at Martinsville, at least for right now, in terms of these two. But those are my 4 reasons why I think that's most confident. But Ross Chastain, it is up there, man. It is up there. And so that is the green flag, red flag. Actually, no, wait, there's still one more. I'm dumb. I can't count. All right, so green flag, red flag, number 4 of the night. NASCAR should implement a rule banning the wall riding move that Ross Chastain used this week or last weekend at Martinsville. Tom, what do you think?
Okay, let me say before I answer this, I love that move. It was incredible. It was exciting. It was the most daredevil, Evel Knievel thing I have ever seen. And I want to say that, in my opinion, he only tore up his own car, and he really only put himself at danger. He didn't drive through 5 competitors. He didn't do anything. I don't think he put fans in danger because people hit the wall all the time. So I am 100% for the move, okay? But I am going to say green flag, I want him to put a rule against it, and here's why, okay? I don't want to see this where somebody is doing it to try to go from 17th place to 13th place, okay? And I think that's what it will evolve to. And I don't want to see it at every track where you can do it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see New Hampshire and see 5 guys doing it on the last lap, all trying to improve their position. And I don't want to see it every year at Martinsville and at Richmond and at wherever else you can do it. I want it to be special. I want it to be sacred. I want it to be one of one, okay? I want it to be the pass in the grass. There's only been one pass in the grass, okay? I want it to be the David Pearson, Richard Petty finish in the Daytona 500 in 76, where they pushed one of the cars across the finish line. Okay. I want it to be the Donnie Allison, Cale Yarborough fight at the Daytona 500. I want it to be one of one. I want it to be sacred. I want it to be, this is the only time it ever happened. And I don't think it will stay as sacred and as special if they don't put a rule against it, because we're going to see it's going to evolve to the point where 5 guys do it on the last lap, because you're going to see guys not just doing it for the win or for the chance to move to the championship. They're going to do it because they can move from 18th place to 12th place. And I don't want to see that. So I'm saying, yes, they need to make a rule against it.
Okay. Zach, what do you think?
I'm going to say yes as well. They should make a rule banning it. I think that it could be slightly dangerous. I mean, one thing that Ross didn't even take into account was the entry gate used at Martinsville on the high side there. Very easily could have caught his car and destroyed his car. Ultimately, it didn't, but it is dangerous. It could be dangerous hitting it wrong. This is like the one time that I think that, nothing happened. Nothing was wrong. Nothing went wrong. It should be one of one, like Tom said, because, you're going to see other guys do that. There were some comments online about how people will start using that every lap. No, there's no way you're going to use that every lap. I don't know if they just did not see the side of Ross Chastain's car after it. It was undrivable after that. It's a one-time move. But you will see guys towards the end of the race do that if there is that sort of advantage. So, what I don't want is it get to the point where you hit the wall coming out of the final corner and through no fault of your own, it wasn't intentional, and you rode it even halfway, and now you're disqualified. I don't want it something that aggressive that we're going to see guys get disqualified through non-intentional bumping the wall and finishing. But yeah, something that NASCAR works out that, prevents that type of stuff in the future, I think would be beneficial.
Well, y'all have actually kind of changed my mind here, because originally I thought, just don't put a rule against it. It was a fantastic moment in the racing world where somebody has gone out and did a NASCAR approved race car, did a video game move that we've all wanted to do in games, and did it in real life, and is now on the verge of winning a championship because of that move. Don't take it out, but I am starting to see your guys' points that it seriously could be a safety hazard if multiple drivers start to take advantage of it and exploit it, which is NASCAR. It's all about exploiting things. And so I will go green flag, but I will say this. I don't think they should outlaw it in its entirety. I mean, they should have some sort of stipulation on there, some sort. I don't know what stipulation they need to put on there. But yeah, I mean, people could seriously get hurt after that. And again, think about who the driver was that performed that move. It was Ross Chastain, the guy who Wreck-It Ross. Wreck-It Ross made that move, but instead of wrecking other people, he wrecked his own car and still got the championship for it. Even though it was a fantastic move, it will be replayed for years. It could very potentially lead to a very dangerous situation if a driver is that desperate enough. But no, with the whole use every lap thing, no, not with this car, not with the last gen or the 2 gens or the 2 gens after that. No, it will never happen every single lap. But yeah, I really think there needs to be some stipulation on it, but don't outlaw it in its entirety, because what other tracks can that possibly happen at? I mean, it could happen at Bristol, but that track is so fast anyway that it won't really do you much good. There's no other tracks that you really can do it at.
Maybe New Hampshire, maybe Richmond. I think New Hampshire's your next best candidate, but I don't know.
Yeah, New Hampshire, Richmond, possibly, but those are the only two tracks that I can see it on. I mean, mile and a half, good luck.
But keep in mind, we're talking like those kind of tracks. Kyle Larson almost made it work at Darlington. So maybe the field of tracks or the universe tracks we do is bigger than we think.
It could be, but I don't know. Either way, I think there still needs to be some sort of stipulation in there, but don't outlaw it in its entirety. It just sucks up the fun of everything.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the last question for a minute. Okay. I went to YouTube and searched for Matt Kenseth Rex Joey Logano. The number one video from 7 years ago that I found on this has 1.2 million views. Okay. That's from 7 years ago. If I go and I search Ross Chastain, Martinsville, that video already has 939,000 views, and it's only been out 2 days. So I'm defending my answer there that is the more memorable of the events. There's my basis for it.
You know what? You know what? That's fine. You have your opinion, and I have mine. But still, that is very impressive for being out for 2 days.
Yeah.
Already getting that many views. All right, so that is the end of green flag, red flag. Ryan Fleet coming in with his prediction. Going to see guys take out 2/3 of the pack with it. That's the fear right there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So normally this is where we make our picks for the Cup race for next weekend. But since this is Championship 4 weekend, we are going to make our picks for all 3 series. So let's build our way up, bottom up. Let's start with the Truck Series. Aaron, who have you got winning the Truck Series Championship?
I'm going to go with the feel-good story and probably the guy who has the hottest hand right now in Ty Majeski. Winner of the last two races. The feel-good story being that he was with, Roush Fenway years and years ago, got booted out, had to completely restart his career, sweeping the shop at Thor Motorsports in the Truck Series, gets called upon for a ride, and has never looked back. He's been very consistent this year, and at times he's looked dominant, but just couldn't pull together a win until the last 2 races. This guy is very likable, very, very humble dude, and just the overall, I think the best feel-good story of the entire championship weekend, in my opinion. So Ty Majeski has got to be my pick, because imagine the story that would bring. That would be amazing for Ty Majeski to get it.
Okay. All right. Before we go to Zach, let me throw one thing in here. Okay. Majeski has won not 2 in a row, 2 of the last 3.
2 of the last 3. Yep.
Bristol, 1 Homestead. Some guy named DiBenedetto, never heard of him, won at Talladega.
Benedetto, sound like a bird or something.
I got his flag hung up, right there. So I don't know what I've never heard of him. I just have his flag.
Yeah,
sounds
it
like
just popped up there one day.
Sounds like he owes people a lot of money. It sounds like Deep Indetto.
Yeah.
How much money does Matt Benedetto owe you?
Yeah. So, all right, Zach, who you got for the Truck Championship?
So since both of you guys took my picks, I will pick a different driver. I do think it ultimately. No, I'm not. I think it's going to be Chandler Smith, and here's why. He won at Richmond. He won stage 2. He won the race. He did fight Ty Majeski for it, and he ended up coming out on top. It's a very similar track to that. And Toyotas have been, at least truck Toyotas have been dominant on some of these shorter ovals. So I think Chandler Smith's going to get it. I really do. I think he's going to get it.
Okay, so let me tell you who I want to win, and then I'll tell you who I'm picking to win. Okay. Okay. So I want desperately, with all my heart, I want Ben Rhodes to win. Okay. Because I want to see another drunk Ben Rhodes press conference where he's got the checkered flag draped over his shoulders. Look, I got wings. I got wings. I want to see him looking at his wife going, honey, you look really embarrassed right now. I want to see another Ben Rhodes drunk press conference.
Boy,
so I am pulling for the 99. I want to hear the sound effects when he talks about passing children. It ain't happening, Mama Jammer. I want it all. Okay. I want him coming up to the press conference holding the Bud Light again. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's Ty Majeski. I think he has figured this thing out at the right time. I think his team is peaking. I think he drives for a powerhouse organization. He's got his teammate to beat in there, Ben Rhodes, but I think it's Ty Majeski. So, but I am pulling hard for Ben Rhodes. So, all right, let's move on. Xfinity Series Championship. All right, Zach, who have you got?
I have Noah Gragson, although I do want Josh Berry to win it. Noah Gregson's been dominant. I mean, if he doesn't win it, it'll be a big shock to everyone. His main competitor in AJ Allmendinger all season is not competing for the championship. Although he has Ty Gibbs there, we've seen Noah Gragson time again beat Ty Gibbs on speed. I think Noah's got it. I think the team is matured and gelled. I think as an organization, they're very cohesive. You got Josh Berry, and you do have Justin Allgaier as well in there, able to help him out. So you got teammates to help you out as well. I think Noah Gragson will win. I want Josh Berry to win. That's who I'm rooting for. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
All right, Aaron, who you got?
No, all right. I'm going with a very unpopular pick here because I have a very good reason why. Because I see Ty Gibbs wrecking Noah Gragson for the win. That is the only reason why I think Ty Gibbs will win the championship, because that's the only way he's going to win the championship is if he wrecks Noah Gragson, the championship favorite. That's it. That's the only reason why. I don't want Ty Gibbs to win. I would be very disappointed to see Ty Gibbs win. I want to see Noah Gragson win it because he has earned that championship, just going God mode the last few months, actually, just going absolute God mode. Josh Berry because of the feel good story. Justin Allgaier because he's Justin Allgaier and deserves some more recognition in the Xfinity Series landscape. But I'm going Ty Gibbs because he's going to wreck Noah Gragson for the win, and that's the only reason why.
Okay, somebody on another show that I watch, Running on Scuffs, which are some great friends of mine. Check them out on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel, Running on Scuffs. There's no G on running, so make sure you put it in right or you won't find their channel. But somebody on that show brought up a great point about Ty Gibbs. He said the whole Xfinity team at Joe Gibbs Racing, however many people there are all trying to get Ty Gibbs a championship, okay? You go to Junior Motorsports, their resources are split three ways. They got three cars that they got to try to get ready to win a championship. So their resources are going to be divided. But Ty Gibbs and JGR Racing, they're all focused on one car. So they saw that as an advantage. So you may be right. You may be right that it's Ty Gibbs. But I am going to tell you, I believe that Xfinity trophy, it's going to have puke all over it because Noah Gragson's going to pull it off. I think he wins it. I think he takes the drama out of it. I think he might put Ty Gibbs into the fence halfway through stage 2. I think he wins it. I don't think he gives Ty Gibbs a chance to wreck him at the end. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Noah Gragson. I agree with Zach. I think there's going to be vomit all over that trophy.
Yeah, I mean, Noah Gragson is the most deserving driver in the field to get the trophy, possibly besides Ty Gibbs. But then again, nobody wants to see Ty Gibbs win.
Yeah.
Not of the crap that he pulled this weekend. No, nobody wants to see the 54 car in victory lane.
But going to Zach, though, Chase Briscoe won 8 races, the same number as Noah Gragson in his final year in Xfinity, and didn't win the championship, which was a huge injustice. So we may see it again. But I am betting on Noah Gragson right now.
There you go.
Yeah. Got a comment from Ryan here saying Ty Gibbs tries to wreck Noah and just eats shit. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious and just smile on the faces of everybody.
Yeah. Good. All right, let's go to our picks for the Cup Series championship. All right, let's start with you, Zach. Who you got winning the Cup Series championship?
I have Chase Elliott. He has experience. He has won before. He's won at Phoenix before. Earlier this season, he finished second in both stages. Ultimately ended up finishing, I think, around 11th, I think due to a pit stop issue, if I'm recalling correctly. So he's been strong. I really think that, and even though he hasn't been strong as of late, I think that he can regain his confidence going to a track that they've been to this season and that they've won a championship at before. He has his teammates to help him as well. I think that he can get it done, and I think he will. He'll win his second championship.
Okay. All right, Aaron, who have you got?
For me, it was very kind of back and forth between, honestly, damn near everybody. I mean, everyone has a case to win this championship. I mean, for Joey Logano and Chase Elliott, they've been very strong at Phoenix the last few years. Elliott, of course, winning it back in 2020. Joey Logano has been very strong at Phoenix over the course of his career. Christopher Bell, he's on fire right now. So he has a very strong chance to win this. Of course, Ross Chastain, you can never count out Ross Chastain because he'll pull off some insane move that will somehow work. But in the end, I guess I went. What's funny is I put down Logano just off the top of my head until I kind of realized who I picked to win the race, and that's Chase Elliott.
I'll switch with you.
Oh no! I'm fine. I'm going with Chase anyway, just because he seems like the safer pick at Phoenix to me. I mean, he's shown speed throughout the last few weeks. He's going to be the favorite going in. I just have a weird feeling about Chase going into this, and so I go with Chase. But I will be pulling for Christopher Bell to win the championship because imagine if that dude wins the championship and just shuts everybody up. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, because I remember beginning of the season, I was saying, why did Joe Gibbs swap out Eric Jones for Christopher Bell? Because I didn't see that Christopher Bell had been doing any better than Eric Jones. And, talk about being proven wrong. The second half of the season, he has not just been fast, but he has been consistent as well. Before I reveal my pick, I want to say, you two guys picking Chase Elliott, hey, here's the deal. You send me one race, I got to win it. It's a championship race. And you give me Chase Elliott as a driver, and you give me a car built in the Hendrick shop by Chad Knaus, and I got to like my odds, I mean, I just got to like those odds.
I mean, he is a safer pick.
Yeah. Here is who I'm going to pick, and here is why, okay? Baby Bell, Mr. Walkoff, earns that nickname by getting his third walk-off win of the season. And here's the deal. Goodyear is bringing the same tire to Phoenix that they brought to New Hampshire, that they brought to Gateway, and that they brought to Richmond. So let me give you Mr. Bell's finishes at New Hampshire, Gateway, and Richmond. 12-2. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong line. 1, 9, 6, and 2 average finish at those tracks, 4.5. Next closest of the championship contenders is Chase Elliott with a 2, a 21, a 14, and a 5. So that's why I am picking Bell. Now, if you look at the previous Phoenix race, Bell had a crappy race. He was 26th. I'd have to go back and look at it to see if he had mechanical problems or pit stop problems or an ill handling car. But I would have to go, even though he had a poor race at Phoenix, I'm going with Bell. But I clearly think that it is Bell and Elliott are the two favorites. But I am going with the obscure fact that on this tire that Goodyear is bringing out, Bell has had the best results.
I mean, it seems like Dime and Mike Hora both agree with you there, and Bell. Bell is a very good pick because like we said, he does have the hot hand right now. I mean, he had to win it. He had to win and survive in the round 12. He won and survived in the round of 8. Why not do it again? Why not try to look for 3 in a row?
Yeah,
I feel like if he does win, I feel like they would probably be the most dominant, like, playoff performance that we've seen in a long time as far as like winning the championship. Because if I remember correctly, I don't believe Harvick or Hamlin won the championship when they won all those races in 2020, wasn't it? Or 2021?
No, Hamlin won like 9 races in 2020 but didn't win, which is an injustice.
Yeah. Probably the most dominant playoff performance since Tony Stewart went winless in the regular season, then won 5 of the 10 playoff races.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, certain Carl Edwards fans are still PTSD about that, including myself.
Okay.
But anyway,
we are up to our closing comments. So anybody got anything they want to share as a closing comments?
I'm excited to see who wins on Sunday. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and think about it, guys. Next week, during this time, we will be signing off for the last time.
Yep. Yeah, if you don't know, we are ending the show at the end of the season. So next weekend is going to be the final hurrah for us. So please tune in. Please tell your friends and neighbors. Let's send this thing out in style with a big audience and a big bang. Okay, I got a couple of closing comments. I'm sorry, were you done, Aaron?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. Couple of closing comments. One, Mike Hora, if you are still tuned in, we need to know how to get a hold of you. You and Adam Lauer have been our 2 most loyal viewers through this whole production. So we would like to have you guys join us next week as special guest co-hosts on our final episode. So if you can drop us a comment or something with your email address or some way to get a hold of you, we'd appreciate it, and we'll coordinate with you. We would love to have both you and Adam on our show next week because, like I said, you guys have been our most loyal viewers, and we love your opinions, we love your comments, and we'd love to share the last episode with you.
Yeah, actually, does YouTube have like a direct messaging thing on their channel? Because I would not like to have him post his email, for everyone to see.
Okay, Mike, if you go to my website, setup-man.com, there is a section there that says contact us, and that has my email address in it. So you can go there, and that's how you can at least get a hold of me, and then I will get back to you, and we'll get it all coordinated. And if that doesn't work, leave a comment after the show. I'll write your email address down, then I'll delete the comment.
Yep. Right there you go. That's for Adam. Yeah, for Adam Lauer and Mike Hora, pretty much only.
Yeah. And, okay, hold on. Give me a second. I have another comment here if I can do it. Okay, if I can do it here, and I'm not sure I can, as most of you guys know, on August 29th, I had a pretty serious heart attack. I was very, grateful and very blessed and very thankful that I got some excellent medical care out of it. And I am actually recovering and doing really well, or at least I feel like I'm doing really well. I wanted to make a point of going back to the ER on a day that the doctor that was working on me was in the ER. I got a chance to go back and thank him, and a lot of the staff was there as well that worked with him that day, and thank them personally. I coordinated this through a friend of mine who is a nurse at the hospital, who said, "Hey, would you mind if our marketing person came over and took a couple of pictures while you're there?" And I said, "Don't mind at all." That concept of her taking a couple of pictures has turned into the health system wanted to do a commercial about the care I received during the heart attack. And that commercial is ready to air now. It's going to be on our local televisions. But if I can here, I would like to share it with you guys, just because I think it's such a great testimonial of the care I received. Not so much that it's about me, but about the great people who worked on me. So I'm going to try and share a video file here if I can. Oh, can't do it that way. Wonder if I can share the screen and the video will come across. Let's hope. Tell me if you guys can hear this when I play it. Probably can't. Hold on. Tell me if there's sound.
No.
No sound?
No sound.
Okay, do me a favor, guys. If you guys got anything to talk about, I'm going to see if I can download this real quick and then share it that way. So, Mike, were you able to get a hold of us?
All right. I guess while he's doing that.
I cannot download it, unfortunately. Sorry. You got to pay for that.
But anyway, go ahead and if you want to or if you want to Tom, go ahead and tell him where to find it.
If you go out on YouTube, the channel that I know that it is on is Camden Clark, Camden Clark, and you can also search. I don't know if you'll search for my name if you'll actually get it, but let me see if I can put it in the links here in the comments. I don't think that actually when you post links that it allows you to post a link, but I will see, since maybe it's my channel, they'll let me. Yeah, I wish we could share that. Aaron, there in any way you can click on the link and share it since you're the host, can you?
Actually, I'm trying to find it right now. Hold on.
Go to the comments and should be a link right there in the comments. If you click on that link as the host, can you share the video?
Let me see here.
If we can't, not a big deal, but just want to try to share that if I can.
Okay, stop that. Let's see.
But anyway, they had me on camera, and I got a chance to talk about the care that I received and some of the people that worked on me. And the commercial I thought turned out really well, but it was really special to me just to be able to thank them in that way.
Okay. So I'm going to do it from here.
School, went to the gym, got on the
Are you guys hearing it?
started experiencing tightness in my chest. And when I got into WVU medicine at Jackson, Dr. Fincham came in immediately. He looks at me and he says, "You are having a heart attack right now. We're calling a helicopter for you." And he never left my side until I was in the helicopter on my way to Camden Clark. The heart attack I had was 100% blockage in the artery known as the widowmaker. When someone says he's fighting for his life, in my case, that was a misused phrase. It was all the healthcare workers that were fighting for me. From the emergency room staff at Jackson, the life flight crew, Dr. Goddard, and the people in the cath lab here at Camden. I am here today, able to still be a father to my kids, getting stronger every day. So glad that we had this kind of care in our community that I can be here today telling my story. Okay, so that's it. Thank you guys for watching it. I thought it turned out really well. I would appreciate, I was so grateful for the chance to do it. just because it meant so much to me to be able to thank those people for everything they did for me. And if they can use my story for their own gain, for the hospital to do whatever, I am more than happy to help them. After all, they saved my life. So my parting comment is thank you guys for letting me share that video.
Absolutely. And thank God for all those medical workers, because we love you, Tom. We absolutely love you, brother.
Love you guys too. And I am the definition of just happy to be here.
Don't doubt that at all.
Did you send me an email? Because I have not seen anything yet. I'm looking at my email right now.
We sent the info. Maybe it's just trying to get there.
Maybe.
But anyway,
all right. I'll keep looking for it. I'm sure you'll get it there. If you got the website, you can get it to me.
Tom, so do you have like a business email that you can kind of, well, actually, no, never mind. Us forget us anything. With that said, I think we'll do it for tonight. Mike, if you can, if you can just try again, we'll try and get you here this week. Also, Adam Lauer, if you are watching this on YouTube, you do the same thing, brother. As a good old time, and we'll get you on this podcast for the Loose Lug Nuts finale.
Absolutely.
And with that said, I think we will go and call tonight. See you guys next week. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your dog, tell your grandmother's friends, tell everyone down at their retirement home if you have to. Tune in for the finale episode next week. Same time, same place here on YouTube, 9 o'clock p.m. for the championship finale. And y'all, and anyway, guys, y'all be safe.
See you guys.